I was thinking how good is a woman like Mary that is mother because is mother and virgin, both things. And I was thinking who other woman, who else, which other women will be like her? I was thinking Saint Teresa of Avila. Many women, saint women, took their names from her. It was after the invasion from Arabs, not Arabs, Muslims that were more fanatics, not the best ones maybe, because they will be better. But even though she was very strong, she wanted to give her life for the cause, for she didn't have any problem, because that Muslims were literally killing Spanish. It's difficult. So she was really strong. So Spanish culture is a strong culture. That made, I think, because virtu means viril, means strong, strength, like power, no? So women that are virtu, have virtu, they are strong, like Teresa of Avila. Yes, and Spanish is a culture not so feminine, extreme, naturally, not from the past, I think. Then I was thinking, because Teresa of Calcutta, Albania is a culture where men are too much for me. We need this harmony, equilibrium. But women, I think, they, at least when I was there, I think that Teresa of Calcutta also would be like this. It was maybe also 1 century ago. And so women could be better, stronger, simple, not complicated, simple, strength, strong. It reminds me of Teresa of Avila. By the way, she took the name Teresa of Calcutta from Teresa of Avila. Here we are in Romania, I said it, no? While I'm talking. From between the Transylvania and that is near Bucharest, the capital, and Hungary, between. Maybe nearer, yeah, in the middle. So, and I was saying, and Saint Teresa de Lisieux, the little Teresa, no? And I was thinking, but France is more feminine, no? Everyone says this, no, in general. That is very nice also. Feminine is good. Other types of virtue. And I think, oh yeah, but she was, her father and her mother were very virtue. They were like monks, like a nun and a sister. And and she knew very much faith. The faith was strong, someone. And the other point, I thought, but yeah, Joan of Arc was strong in France. And then I remembered that, so it's logic, you see. I remember that she acted, and it's a photo of that, as Joan of Arc. This is the other side of the train. Is a train from south to north. This is more or less between the city of Cimmeria, after Transylvania, after Basarab, no? Where Bran, the castle of Grand Dracula, Transylvania, and Hungary. It's before Timișoara, maybe near Sighisoara or something like that, where this Conde Dracula, he was born, whose name was really Bran, no? The castle was started to be built by the Teutonics, but by like wood, it was burned, and also Teutonics, they sent them away because they wanted to be powerful and like rebels, and then they built it. And now this is a river. It seems that the stations were like new. They were doing it now. It's strange. They're like very new. I don't know which river is this. Seems to be almost big, not as Danubio. Maybe it's the Danubio, but I don't know. It seems to be not so big, but big. I come back to the other side, to the beginning. So it's interesting because this actual Pope, whose name is Pope Leo Lion Strong, and we see nothing is casualty. The people that were gaining power now, it's a redundance, but it is not. I mean, that were being both elected, not by the people, but these presidents were choosing a figure, the figure of a lion, especially now, and even in football. No? The last World Cup, the coach's name is Lionel, like little lion, and the football player of like the best for many, at least in draw with another or not, which name is Lionel also, and also his name is like Cristo instead of Cristiano, which is Messi. Well, whatever, this isn't so important, but I mean there is a logic in everything. It's difficult to know what it means, what the things mean. You have to know how to interpret the signs of the times. This is very important and difficult because we know that when wind comes from east, it will be rain, says the word of God, because they were at the west of the Mediterranean Sea. I can understand now why it says like that. And when it comes from north, maybe it will be cold, but it didn't say that. But it says when it comes from south, the wind will be hot or warm. You can correct me. So we can interpret it as science, or we can know about science. No, we know about science, but do we know about what's God's plan? What's going on in the world? So now we have a crisis, faith and reason, both. And our actual Pope, for the ones that believe, or is Episcopal of Rome, the other side, he has studied, the one before has studied medicine. At least he wanted medicine. Similar to Avicenna, even Sina, no? Even Rouge, Avicenna, Averroes translated. And also Aristoteles, he was a doctor, very good one. So nothing is casualty. And I think Matthew, you can correct me also, he's represented by the figure of a lion, can be? I'm not sure. And Mark was like the male of the cow, no? Whatever. Well, it has to be because it's a lion again. And I was saying that Aristotle is more practical than Plato. Plato is more theoretical. If you know, John Paul II was a philosopher. This is the theory of Plato. The president has to be philosopher. The monarch, the president, the Pope, in this case, has to be philosopher. In John Paul II, it was made the dream or the idea, the thought of Plato. But then came a more theologian that is more about faith. It will be Benedict XVI, a wise person. Not only my thinking correctly, John Paul II thinks very good. Polish, they think too much. They want to know everything, owners of the truth. By the way, the referee, talking about reason and logos and logic, because God is the logos, is not the science, is over science, is the wisdom, is the wise. two things at the same time. Like his pure act is not potentiality, because he's not going to be. Again, connection between Aristotle's philosophy and how he represented to Moses. That's why Muslims took their shoes like Moses did it, in a sign of humbleness, because they have many signs. The Muslims are sons biologically. We think that from Abraham. Christians are not in general biological, but spiritual. We think spirit is more important than blood. By the way, Aristotle follows Plato not in his blood but in his mind. Okay, in philosophy, maybe not. The spiritual is even more, no? But it's related with the mind. Descartes was a philosopher. So many things we can say about so many things. That's why I'm uploading this video, because I think many times many things, and some of them I repeat them in my mind. So I say it seems there is a logic, because I see them again and again. I mean, every time you press the interrupter, the light turns on. So maybe this is an interruption for the light. So I won't say in one word, but I will say like a resume. Theology, what I'm trying to do, is thinking. Is the act of thinking the faith, or the think of the faith. Because the faith is logic. If it's not logic, if it wouldn't be logic, it will be fanatism or fideism, which is not faith. Faith is truth. Faith is wisdom. Theology is wisdom. The two are related, no? Philosophy also, the three are related. But philosophy is my logos arriving to the faith, no? There is a distinction in the medieval and the theology always, is fides qua, fides quo, because one is my faith and the other is the faith. My faith could be like, we call it objective or subjective. A friend bishop call it subjectual, because it's true, my true, but not my opinion only, but also true, my point of view. That's why the dia logos, your logos, my logos, we dialogue. I learn from you. That's why we know we don't have to be owners of the truth, because we cannot be owners of the truth. Socrates makes mageutica. He's we call it the Socratic humbleness. I will say it will be like gnoseological humbleness, because it's humbleness of the truth, the humbleness of the morality. Maybe will be even better. I didn't heard about this yet. I will let it like this. Someone can tell me, so I can learn. And this problem nowadays, that we are not humble enough. We are like monologuing. Sometimes that's why I don't upload. But many times the same, listening many times, many things. We have 2 years. By the way, Pope Francis was really a big listener. He was, and Moses has fame, and not only fame, it's in the Word of God. He was a humblest man in the world, or man, no? Humblest man between men, between all the human beings in the world. I think he was in the Transfiguration, and I see this. I don't know what you think, the relation between the Transfiguration, because I didn't heard it never at this. I see this connection. I'm not sure. I mean, nobody told me. Yes, I think the same. And when Moses talked with God in the Old Testament, he came back with the face so bright. And then in the New Testament, when he talked with Jesus, it was the transfiguration, and he was so bright. Casuality, again, Judaism, the beginning of Christianism, which is Catholicism, the complete, because it's Catholicos, Holisticos, all Christ. Not only the Orthodoxia, not only my opinion of the church, opinion, no, right, doxa opinion, dogma, okay. Not only, but also, not only the gospel evangelico, I'm evangelic, not only the Pentecostals, Holy Spirit talking Pentecostals, not only, you see, Catholic will be, I mean, in theory, then you have person, you can have a person that goes to a university and is not so smart or even not wise, and you can have another person that is humble in the fields that we are now watching here. He lives here with his family, poor, humble, working, and maybe he's wiser than others that go to Harvard, MIT, or whatever you can say. Boston, I see so many times with the t-shirts. New York, Boston. New York comes from Amsterdam, by the way, another thing. Well, no, because nothing, it is a logic, and that's the point. This is what the Pope Leo, near New York, near New England, near Canada, because I thought the new Pope maybe is coming from Commonwealth related with France. No, by the way, his second name Francis. I mean, I'm not trying to force things. I'm not saying, oh yeah, it's because of this, but many things, you know. I will say at least maybe, but it's too casualty. All things are going to the same point, no? Like, for example, every time I see this magnetic field, it points to the north. I don't know how to call it, this metal with ionization. I don't know very much. That always shows the north, no? This. So it can be casualty. No, this would be empirism. They say experience is everything, and who knows if tomorrow will happen. It's strange because they are focused on experience, and then they are the ones that say it will happen that all these kind of birds will be white, and then you have one black in Australia. Yes, but they are empirists. The rationalists don't say that. Well, you see, and this is what Pope Leo studied. He studied logic. Okay, human logic. What logic? And he's coming from USA. The power, we can agree or not in the way, etc. But in general, people know USA is powerful, and he's coming from there. Like Saint Augustine, this is my connection. I don't know if it's I only say two things. Maybe there is a connection. Saint Augustine comes from the Roman Empire. Saint Paul from the Roman Empire, also the power. And Saint Paul with the sword, also related with Francis in one way. He's Jesuit. He was also defending at the beginning, and then he became more like he converted a little bit. Well, different points, but he's more practical, no? This Leo could be more like Augustine, by the way, in one sense, or like Leo. He will be strong, but this strength. Remember, Benedict XVI said we need a pope, a strong pope, not me now. That's why I'm going, he said, in my words, no, but making it easy. He said, I'm going from the papacy because now we need a strong man. And he was a wise man, and wisdom brings, it's like the potentiality, I think, of strength. But Francis is more practical, and he's more about doing, about no. Some people were saying the traditionalists, whatever. Oh, we don't agree in this. He was silent. He didn't lose time. That was what maybe we needed in the moment. Now we need again Catholic to unify everything holistically. He said it, no? The all is more than the adding of the parts. So essentially, we all agree. By the way, all religions, I won't say they are the same, but they point to the same. They have similar intentions, especially, and they all talk about the God, even philosophy. The right one, the good one, the deepest, the one that doesn't deny metaphysics. Metaphysica, not only physica, not only physics is related with nature, as I think. Not only materia, because the logos is where things comes from. Not only the land, as we can see now, the fire related to the sun, the water that is after these trees, we can see it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's after the trees, it's the river, and the air in the middle of all this. Not only these four elements, or the fifth element, whatever, Heraclito called it, instead of these four elements, related with fire maybe, but he called it the logos. He was the one that said that. Parmenides called it the being, the be. There comes the to be or not to be, maybe, I don't know, but it's related. And by the way, the definition of God is not possible. That's why the Jews don't call it, don't name it. That's why the Muslims took their shoes, etc. But if we could call God, he would be named as I am who I am, where the verb am in Hebrew will be, because in Spanish you have ser, estar, haber. It will be the three things: to be in a complete sense, and also to be in future and in past, is the being. So it's very, very complex and simple at the same time. Because we are humans, we need to go step by step. But angels can intuit. They have intuition, but not human. Not instincts at all. No, don't let's not confuse with this. But they have intuition, but not an. I wanted to say not animal intuition. I mean, not human intuition that changes and is not stable, not so deep. It's like they have an intuition where you, like this, no? You see and you know what is going on, even if you don't understand it. So this intuition makes angels know things directly, without needing to make the process of reasoning, analyzing. Analyzing is taking parts. That's why synthesis, analysis, no? Synthesis. Hypothesis first, then analysis, the parts, and then unify the parts again in the correct way. It seems to be like medicine, no? Again. And also logic. Science is logic. All the sciences have in common that they are logic. Even if we don't understand them. For example, even in physics or chemistry or other science that seems to be so exact, you have sometimes contra-intuitive definitions. Maybe the relativity, maybe the quantum theory. Then when we understand it, we say, it's intuitive. But if you understand it, you see, angels don't need to make a reason. Is when a leader has to have this intuition. He has to see all the parts. But first, to reach that level, we need to understand each part, or at least the whole in the context and the parts in the whole. Because the leader maybe doesn't know how to make something so good as the other that does that thing specifically. Of course, because the leader, his mission, his ability, his function is to know how to organize all the elements, all the people, all the persons in a mission, in an objective. He knows where to go and even how to communicate it, and more or less maybe how to do it. But each person will have to know how to do it specifically. This is not his work. For example, we have to cook this way, but I don't know how to cook it. A leader can say maybe, or he knows how to cook it. No, Buenaventura was bishop and he was doing Franciscan, no, like a little bit like Francis, like the Pope Francis took his name from there. More practical. Not only he knows, Benedict was a theoretical. He knows very much, especially how to write it, how to communicate for the smart and wise, or to the people that has had this language. Pope Francis was more for gestures, not books so much, not only at least, but more like he communicates with gestures. He didn't live in the palace. He didn't have new shoes, always the same shoes. He didn't have bicycle, car, airplane, anything before he became Pope, and after he only had it in the moments he needed to do that work, not for him but for his mission. So I didn't lose the connection. This Teresa and Teresa of Avila and Teresa of Calcutta and Teresa of Lisieux and then other Teresas, Teresa Benedicta of the Cross at its time. They were very strong women, very strong.